I had a bad day today. My fucking car got stuck in the snow. I had to call off work. And it took me all day to dig my car out because I had to chip through 2 inches of ice. It's been a shitty day. So, because circumstances that fucked me in the ass, I'm doing things a little bit different than what I had originally fucking planned again. It's like I never actually make the videos that I plan to make. I get all ready to make these videos and then I just fucking never make them. I've got a backlog of videos like you wouldn't fucking believe. The shit that Anyways. So, what I want to talk about today is today's big story. Well, kind of the resolution of the past couple of days' big story. Right? We wound around until we actually know what the fuck is going on. So now I'm going to talk about it. You know, like some people would say that that's responsible journalism. Yeah, those people are fucking crazy. Whatever. I think I might have some sniffles too, so if you see some snot flying out, that's gross, I'm sorry. I've been outside all day, the cold. Anyways, so, I want to talk about the Native American and the smirking white demon. The poor Native America, the poor crying Native America from the old fucking commercial from the 70s. that evil Trump supporting piece of shit white devil colonizer rapist of Africa. That guy. We're going to talk about that. Right? But I want to do it interesting. Because I think this would be the perfect movie for nowadays. Because it's really about nothing. There really isn't anything to it. But I think people would find it interesting if it was structured properly. And I think the way to structure it properly is, I don't remember what the fuck the movie name was, but I think it was Flashpoint. I don't remember though. But it had Jack Shepherd from Lost, whatever the fuck his name is, Matthew Fox, I think, and Ghost Dog was in it, and those are the only people I remember. But it was like somebody tried to assassinate some politician, right? And it was like it went through every main character's like story, like their story from their perspective, you know. And I thought it was very cool. It was all split up like that, you know. And then they kind of merged the stories and then it kind of took a life of its own. But I think it'd be interesting if it was done like that, right? And I think it would go a little something like this. So apparently, we're in Washington, D.C., out in front of the monuments. I don't remember which one. I think it was Lincoln Memorial. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was somewhere in the monument section, right? Where high school kids might, all join together in order to get on buses to go places, right? So, yeah. Couple of actors, I think it was 4, and they were black activists. And they were out there, you know, shouting their activism, talking to whoever would listen, as activists will. And all of a sudden, in comes a whole group of high school kids. Small groups at first, you know, just have a couple kids here and there, just kind of merging together. Kids just kind of coming from everywhere, like it's all creepy. That'd actually be really cool. It would add some propaganda feel to the movie. Yeah, so okay, kids start swarming in from all around, just little groups of kids, and they start coalescing in this big mass of children that are starting to get rowdy, you know, and so these kids start, you know, listening to what these activists are saying. And these activists are saying things that perhaps, let's say, these activists are the kind of activists that give anybody with common sense bad names, right? So they were talking about how gay people are awful and this, that, and the other fucking thing, and whatever. I can only imagine the things that they were saying. But I do know, because I did see the video where they were talking. I actually watched the video, where they were saying things like, you know, something about how can you support a country that gave faggots rights. You know what I mean? Like, just terrible shit. And these kids, you know, they're standing around in MAGA hats, but, you know, they're kids nowadays. And it's different for kids nowadays. Kids nowadays don't think the way we do. You know what I mean? Because we think the way that we thought when we were kids. Back in those days. For the most part, some of us, whatever, but, you know, that's kind of where you go. And I guess it's like 80% of kids nowadays or something like that, 80-something, 83%, something like that, of kids nowadays just don't have a fucking problem with homosexuality. They don't fucking care. Because, what, you know, but whatever. Anyways, so, you know, these kids start going, well, that's fucked up, man, and they don't like what they're saying. So what did they do? They decided to take a page out of the leftist book, and actually, wait a minute, we'll get to that in a second. Hold on. So now I have this set up, and I'm running with the story. Give me a second. So now you've got these like 4 black activists, and they're arguing homosexual hate with these evil white children, right? And these evil white children think that homosexuals are just fine. And these wonderful black activists, they hate homosexuals. So here's where we're at, right? And then we go to the next part. And scene. So, apparently there's also some native people there. And we'll close in on them. And they got their drums. They're doing some sort of drummy thing, some ceremony of some sort. I think it was remembering native soldiers in Vietnam or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Don't quote me, but I think it was something along those lines. Right? It's a Hollywood movie we're making, so fuck it. They were doing a thing for Vietnam veterans that were natives. All right, so they're doing their thing. And they notice that these black activists, whom they've been listening to for a decent part of the day, and they kind of know what they've been saying. Nevertheless, they see 4 black people and like 150 white kids. And the white kids are now yelling and screaming and jumping around and chanting and stuff like that, right? Wow. So there's the situation. We have not only a minority group, but a very small minority group against a very massive majority colonizing fucking evil hate group, right? And they're all dancing around in red hats and shit. So the native peoples, being peaceful peoples that they are, they decide they're going to intervene. And they're going to play a song to soothe aggression. So they take up their drums and they walk out right up to the mob of hateful white kids. And the guy walks directly up to a hateful white kid who doesn't move and who's looking at him like, why are you drumming in my face, man? And the hateful white kid won't move and he can't move because if he moves anyway, then he's going to bump into this kid. And the kid's not moving because he has no fucking clue what's going on. So they're just kind of standing there and play the song. And then everybody leaves. And that'll be the Native American part. That's essentially what happened, right? Now we wind up with the kids. So we'll cut in on a group of kids. We'll say, we'll find the kid with the most annoying, smirky fucking face, right? And he'll be the one that will follow through this tale, this portion, right? So he goes, he's on a school trip, and they tell him, meet back in front of this monument at this time so that we can all get on the bus to go wherever the fuck we're going. So, holy shit, it's getting about that time. Gotta go. And him and his friends, they jam ass over to the fucking monument, right? This will be like the fun action part, right? We'll watch these evil, hateful fucks, and it'll be fun and light almost. It'll be like how we twist the tale to make it like M. Night Shyamalan ding-dong-ish, right? So, busting ass through, oh man, like Falcor's chasing them. They're running so fucking hard, and they take time, of course, to kick a homeless man and push over a small child who looks kind of weak and frail. And then they sexually harass some lady, maybe rape a few girls, whatever. Yeah, however we want. It's a Hollywood movie, however we want to dress it up. But we got to make sure people understand these kids are evil as fuck, right? So they get to the monument, and they see these. All right, there's a point where the hyperbole has to take some sort of a backseat. They see these black activists, and they're saying these hateful things against gay people, and they don't like that. So they decide, now we're getting back to where we were before, right? So they decide that the way that they're going to combat the hateful things that these guys are saying is they're just going to, kind of ignore them, and they're going to have fun high school stuff, and they're going to jump around and yell school chants and whatnot and so on, and do whatever, and just kind of be kids and do their own thing, because now they're all together in their huge group and they're getting ready to go, and it's all school spirit and fuck yeah, and then all of a sudden they hear drumming off in the distance, and then here comes these 4 native people, and they just walk directly up to their group. And they're like, oh yeah, we got a fucking band now. And they start fucking dancing to the drums. And they're, whoa, whoa, and they're being high school kids all together, And this guy walks right up to this kid. And the kid's like, the fuck is going on, man? And the dude's just drumming in his face. And he's kind of like, okay. And he doesn't know what's happening, because he's like, I'm here, what? And he's just kind of awkwardly standing there. And then the dude drums his song, and then they all just kind of go away, And that's pretty much what happened. Like, that was it. So why is this a story? Yes, of course. Because the media saw a video that was recorded by the activists, the black activists, and this video showed this Native American guy having almost what looks like a standoff with this kid who's smirking, this white kid who's smirking at him in a MAGA hat, right? So they, of course, capture that image, because that's the image that tells the whole story, right? You can just look at one photo of a situation and you know exactly what's happening. You have a Native American man who looks like he's obviously trying to get past the white devil who's standing in front of him with a shit-eating grin on his face. So obviously they were chanting "Build that wall" because you've got Native people there. And we all know that the way that we wind up with more Native people in America is through illegal immigration with Mexico. So yeah, that makes total sense. Those kids would be screaming "Build the wall" at them. But whatever. It's a Trump chant. So of course they're chanting things. I don't know. They were chanting something. It sounded like "Build that wall." Fuck them. Right? And so they decide that what the situation is that clearly these Native American people were being mocked and taunted and chanted at and harassed and not allowed to, leave. This guy wasn't allowing, this kid wasn't allowing this guy to pass him. Obviously, it looks like, the guy was trying to get around him and the kid was obviously stopping him. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to the video. I just saw this one picture and it was so striking. And so that became the story, that these kids were harassing these Native American people when they weren't. They were ignoring the black activists that were kind of annoying them by saying that they hated gay people. Awkward. Well, it gets more awkward. Oh yeah, Twitter. Oh, what a wonderful place. Dude, honestly, I really think that if I would have been the person who created Twitter, there'd be many events that would make me embarrassed to be that guy. I don't know who it is. I have no clue who this is. So this is nothing personal. I'm just saying if it were me and I created Twitter. There are many events that would have been very embarrassing for me and I would have been like, God, the thing I've created. But I think this event would probably, and I'm saying this is me, I'm not encouraging anybody to do any, this would be my feeling on it, and I wouldn't even actually do this. Oh my God, all of the explanation I have to go into just to make the comparison. The feeling I would have inside from this event would be like when Tommen, poor King Tommen, finally realizes that he's been a pawn all along. Everything's gone to shit. There's nothing that can be salvaged. Everything's just fucking, it's just terrible and fuck it all. And he just takes his crown off and then just walks to the window and just walks right out of it. Like that's, I would feel like he felt in that moment. I wouldn't do that. I'm not saying anybody should. I'm just saying that it would be that kind of heartbreaking, just despair in all of everything around me, that I would be like, this is my kingdom. And I would feel terrible. So Twitter got involved. Of course, Twitter saw the picture, and of course, Twitter drew the same, the same conclusions, because Twitter is full of evil people. And so all of these evil people decided that, boy, wouldn't it be great to encourage people to dox these kids, to demand that their names be given out, to encourage people to punch them in the face. But of course, it's not really, you should go and punch these kids in the face. Don't get me wrong. People were saying that too. That directly. But it was mostly, all the verified accounts. And oh yeah, a lot of verified accounts in this. They were just saying like, boy, doesn't that kid have a really punchable face. Yeah, it's not really directly saying go and commit violence, but you're a fucking asshole if you try and use that as an excuse, so whatever. Pick the type of person you want to be. But yeah, nevertheless, it's gotten really ugly. Really, really, really ugly. Like, it got really, really, really ugly. Of course, Kathy Griffin, piece of shit that she is, she was demanding that these kids' names be given out because, whatever. And everybody could tell where the school was. Because, they're wearing school outfits and shit like that, or school whatever, coats and whatnot. And they're screaming school slogans. So everybody knew what school it was. So it's not that fucking hard to find the school, So, yeah, it's gotten ugly. Information has been tried to be protected as much as possible, because there are a lot of cooler heads out there going, these are kids, these are high school kids. What are you doing? Like, these are high school kids. What are you doing? People telling people that they should just do terrible things. Like, apparently there actually is a circumstance under which a school shooting could be considered a good thing. You know, just wonderful things that people were saying on Twitter. And so yeah, and since the truth has, you know, started to come out more and more, and since people have started to actually understand the situation, because a lot of people have been called out as being flat out fucking liars, and the situation was kind of manipulated, and these are just high school kids who were just in the situation and reacted to it the way pretty much anybody would. You know, you can't even really say, they're kids, and that's, you know, they reacted the way kids would. No, I would have reacted the same way. Some dude started drumming and walked directly up to me. I'd be sitting there going, what the fuck? Like, at some point, it would annoy me, and I'd walk away from it. But I'm not a kid that's waiting for a bus, so I would probably sit there and go, apparently this dude would like to perform directly for me right in front of me. This is very fucking weird. I don't know what's going on. But he didn't fucking know. Honestly, I would have probably been sitting there like, am I a part of a ritual? Is this dude, like, blessing me or something? And I'd have been like, thank you. You know, like, I don't even know how I'd fucking, I don't know, fucking, Jesus Christ. But yeah, so Twitter's an ugly, nasty place full of evil people. And this is one more proof of that, that Twitter is just a really nasty, evil place full of evil people. And it's pretty apparent now who they are. Well, I mean, it's a little bit more difficult to find them now because the cowards have started deleting all of the hateful shit that they said, because now it's, you know, now the winds, they have changed where they are blowing. So, you know, you got to follow suit, and, you know, what is now, you know, yesterday's activism is now today's abuse. So, gotta delete that. Assholes. So, what is the end result of this? Well, it's fair to say that these kids are probably in for some pretty rough fucking days. Just because all of the idiots that have half a brain have realized, oh my God, I've done some bad things and I'm going to get some backlash for this now, so I better delete that. And it doesn't stop a lot of them, because a lot of them just don't care, because that's their world now. And there's a lot of the crazier people that, you know, they don't care either, because it's white people against the Native American guys. So, you know, there's more white people than Native American guys, so obviously the Native American guys are the victims, so we've got to attack the white people. Bring those motherfuckers back in line, because don't they understand their role? Apparently they do. We're the oppressors, right? Well, we go out and oppress people. That's what we do. So, yeah. A lot of people have decided they're still going to go to the school and do protests. Awesome. Protest these kids for doing nothing. It's going to be great. All the assholes on Twitter, you know, this is going to blow over for the most part. People will, you know, forget and just not care, because the next thing will come out. But yeah, these kids are probably going to go through some shit for a while. Who even knows how long? Could be years. I mean, that poor kid that is on the main kid in the picture, the kid with the smirk. I feel bad for that kid, because if he tries to get a job anywhere that has a left-leaning anybody in there, they're going to be like, you look familiar. I hate you for some reason. So, you know, that sucks. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but there's always that possibility, you know, as things get worse and worse. But yeah, what I think will be the ultimate net benefit of this is the simple fact that evil is self-destructive, and this is one of those ways in which it is. Because what's going to happen is, kids are going to experience this. You know, this is involving high school kids. So this is probably going to be a thing that kids are going to be talking about in high school. A lot of them watch YouTube. And what are all the big political YouTubers talking about right now? Exactly fucking this. So all these kids are going to see this and they're going to become indoctrinated into the I can't believe these evil motherfuckers couldn't have even waited to find out what actually happened before they decided to report what didn't happen and get everybody all riled up and hate. And they're starting to not like it. Apparently Gen Z is starting to come out awfully conservative. So now we've got that going to happen. And I think a lot more kids are going to think that walking around in a MAGA hat's going to be pretty fucking cool, because that seems like it's a pretty decent way to your 15 minutes of fame. Possibly ruining your life, but nevertheless, man, everybody could be talking about fucking you. So get your MAGA hat, and hopefully some Native American guy will just randomly play drum in front of you so that you can get on the news. You know what I mean? Like, this is now becoming the popular trend, wearing a MAGA hat and thinking maybe some fucked up thing's gonna happen that, you know. This is now the new dangerous roulette game that kids are trying to play. And it's gonna keep happening. But it's not, you know, it's high school kids. You gotta remember that. You can't just sport a MAGA hat in high school unless you with that shit, you know what I mean? You don't support Trump. Fucking fake MAGA wearing motherfucker. I bet you it's going on. I bet you. I remember what high school was like. It's not that far removed. I'm a YouTuber. Believe me, I remember what high school was like. It was like shit I'm thinking about talking about tomorrow. You know? So, yeah, like, I remember fucking high school pretty fucking well. And I bet you that there's groups of kids that they get around and talk Trump politics and about how fucking hysterical they think he is, that he's tweeting out fucking memes. He's the meme king, you know, meme Trump. Oh, that we've replaced the word president. You're now the high meme. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure there's fucking kids doing that kind of shit. And making little groups, meme groups and whatnot, because it's the cool thing that's going on right now. It's fun, it's funny, it's hysterical, and everybody loves that shit. Everybody always likes to laugh, especially when you're in high school. So, they're getting into this shit. And I imagine if you're a part of that and you're trying to walk around in a MAGA hat, but then you talking about how much you love Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you're gonna get beaten up for that shit. You know what I mean? Like, people are gonna be kids with MAGA hats are gonna be ripping your MAGA hat off, going, "You don't fucking believe," and taking it. You know. So yeah, but no lefty would ever dare put a MAGA hat on their head anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, like, this is the trend now in high school. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? It's interesting now that happens. How pop culture will ultimately dictate a generational, like, mood on things. You know what I mean? Like, in my age, it was, like I've said so many times whenever we talk about racism and how everybody's just a victim now. In my days, MTV told me I was a fucking individual. I didn't need your labels, man. Don't label me, man. I'm an individual. I'm Andy, and you go fuck yourself with your labels, man. Like, that was, that's what I grew up with. I grew up with, no, I'm not gay, or straight, or white, or black, or a man, or a woman. I'm just me. I'm just me, accept me for me. That's you know? And then all of a sudden there was a generation of high school kids that were all about their identity. And now there's a whole generation of kids that are all about fucking MAGA! And yeah, like, that's following the trends. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, I feel good for the future. We might not have 1,000 years of darkness. It could only be 8 or so. We'll see what happens. But like I said, as things get progressively worse, things are gonna get progressively worse. So the more people make this whole situation with Donald Trump such a huge issue that can be turned so hysterical, more and more kids are just going to jump back right onto this bandwagon because it's going to be the popular thing. You always want to be the rebel. Who's the rebel right now? Fucking Donald Trump. So, like, now Donald Trump people are the people being attacked and maligned falsely. They're the victims. And the wheel goes round and round.